It has always been like the story of do your own and let me do my own. But when it has to do with exploiting the members, we are there together. You get income and you are remitting totally and you are left with this, and instead you go and work, because as part-time you are expected to go and work, bring your money also into the ministry, and you are using your own money you work, sowing back into in order to meet up this need. They say you will die here. I say, how do you people do it? They say, continue to be faithful, now you will die. So the rule guiding Pentecostal has always been wrong with the visioneer. Don't ask questions. And what do I mean by that? We believe that you may be living a kind of congregation or denomination, so to say. You are not meant to just fold your hands. It's either you are starting your own ministry or you are pitching tent with another ministry. And myself, knowing that I have no such call to start my own ministry, even though probably because of maybe how I related to people were approaching me, sir, you have suffered enough. Why not start your own ministry? I told them, I don't have such call.
That is starting a ministry which will metamorphose the church, isn't it?
Of course, when we are talking about ministry, we are talking about starting a church. A church. That will either bear your name or you brand it whatever name you like. And that becomes solely yours.
Okay, before you continue, how many years did you spend, or were you a pastor in All Christian Fellowship?
I pastored in All Christian Fellowship for 8 years.
For 8 years?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when that relationship was severe, after about just within a space of few months, I moved down to the second ministry or church.
Which one is that?
That is Redeemed Christian Church.
Okay, the Redeemed Christian Church of God.
That was in the year 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you got there, how did you get to become a pastor in Redeemed Christian Church of God?
Of course, as it has always been the norm. Actually, they know me, I've been a pastor. And now coming to join them is like a plus, because they know my onions.
Okay.
Yes. I'm within my environment, and they knows who is who. Yes. So when I joined the next parish closer to me, which is Redeemed Christian Church of God, it didn't take much time. But nevertheless, each church being its own kingdom, I was subjected into going through the rudiments of a new convert, going through another fresh baptism, through immersion, and being also appointed to either teach other people and so on and so forth.
Please, before you continue, because you made a very striking statement that caught my attention.
Yes.
You said that each church being its own kingdom.
Yes.
So what you are simply saying is that the kingdom of All Christian Fellowship is different from the kingdom of the Redeemed Christian Church of God.
Absolutely. I have to say absolutely, in the sense that each of these churches or kingdom have their own general overseer, who may have different approach to, what do we call it, administration. Now, the only area I can say they have something in common is when it has to do with the issue of tithing, giving, first fruit, and so on. In every other thing, they are all independent. As much as I restrict to call names, this general overseer have nothing to advise this other general overseer coming from this end. It has always been like the story of do your own and let me do my own. But when it has to do with exploiting the members, we are there together.
Okay. Are you saying that from what you know now, that there's supposed not to be a human being a general overseer of the church?
Well, if I tell you I have always known that I will be lying. In the sense that we have this, understanding that these people, so to say, are not the owner of the church. Rather, they are the representatives of God, saddled with the responsibility of preaching the word of God. Of course, the Great Commission. And then the concept is that for that Great Commission to be carried out, somebody somewhere must pioneer it. So may we call it, permit me to say, maybe it's like mobilizing people. So you are free to mobilize your own team. Mr. B is
free to also mobilize his own team,
and so on and so forth. Name your own, whatever name. Like you name the other person, name his own. Let's begin to do it. So that is the concept that we are grown up with.
But according to the Bible, yes, you discover that it is not so.
Yes, of course. If I I'm repeating my words. If I tell you that I have known it that way, I will be lying. It was at my coming to Church of Christ that I got to know or understand first and foremost that these churches are kingdoms. Yes, it was at my,
and each kingdom has a king,
its own king, and that's why no one is subject to the other. Yes.
Okay. So, sir, how did you get to become a pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God?
The process is simple. I've told you initially that you have to start all over again, like a new convert, go through the rudiments of several kind of teaching or stages. Baptismal, of course, has to also be repeated. And after that, you enroll in what is called a discipleship class. After that, you go through what is called the SOD, School of Discipleship, and so on and so forth. It is then while that will be going on, of course, you know the system there. The system has always been, each year, churches are being planted. As the new parishes begin to pop up, those who have been trained and who are now qualified to teach other people will be posted into these new churches to start grooming other members.
Okay, now I was even thinking that since you were a pastor, first and foremost, with All Christian Fellowship,
yes,
that you were supposed not to have passed through the baptism and all those processes. Why was it not possible for you to just also become a pastor with the Redeemed?
Thank you. Earlier on, I made it clear that it's because each of these churches are like their own kingdom. Having said that, every of the denominational church you join will tend to convince you that where you are coming are not the right place. So if you have been baptized wrongly, that you need to be rebaptized again. And that has always been. So none of these churches can respect you from where you're coming. You have to start, from the beginning.
So it simply means that there is division among all these churches. That means one church is not as good as another.
Of course, I've told you. I said the only thing that unites them is when it has to do with
You said
the
so.
monetary aspect
Exploiting
of it.
the members.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what is your take about the background of what do you know about the background of Redeemed Christian Church? Because you mentioned something about that it is the young church that is feeding the other church, then, or the other, is it the parish, from parish to the area they keep?
Yes.
So how is the system like?
Well, I wouldn't say I know much about how the Redeemed started. Of course, it is older than myself. Okay. So, but what I know is that has always been the system where the parish funds the area, the area funds the zone, the zone funds the province, and then the national. So that has been the order of hierarchy. Is the lowest feeds the one above, and it has always been like that up to today.
So if a pastor